Now, I won't say Sonic is the most popular character in the world, but he's definitely been booming as of recently. Bro really got that shadow stimulus package. Now, jokes aside, Sonic has been pretty successful ever since 2022's Sonic Frontiers. Ironically, the same year everybody thought Sonic was going to crash and burn yet again. I won't go too deep into it because obviously I'm waiting for when I get to Frontiers to eventually talk about that story, but I thought you guys needed a bit of history in case you had no idea Sonic was cool to talk about again. In 2020, Paramount released the first Sonic the Hedgehog movie, which also aided in the release of Sonic Frontiers, as that movie surprised a lot of people with how charming it ended up being. And even though it garnered some mixed reception, it still sold heavily at the box office, leading to the eventual trilogy of the movies we now have. And yes, I'll get to these movies eventually. I do want to do one big video on all three of these movies, especially the first two since those have come and gone and I wasn't around to give my opinions. Sonic 3 is still relatively fresh, so I'll give it some time for it to sit with the people who haven't seen it yet. I promise you it seems like I'm rambling, but this will all make sense in the end. Sonic Frontiers was actually the reason I wanted to start this Sonic retrospective. The movie was throwing Kobe level alley-oops for this game, and I knew I had to do this retrospective eventually. If you guys saw my last video, which... damn, that's a lot of you guys. I'm speechless. I don't know what to say. I touched 75,000 hearts. Wow. My voice sounds about monotone as crap, but on the inside, I feel like this, you know what I mean? I really appreciate you guys for enjoying and liking the video, and I hope you guys stay for my future videos as well. Now, returning to the video. Now, I've been secretly trying to set this series up since the first Sonic video I uploaded on my channel, which surprised me because I was talking about Sonic Colors Ultimate, and that game was not favorable for a lot of you guys. I get that at the end of the day, it's still Sonic Colors, but a buggy mess with graphics that look like it came straight from the PS1. This game just did not sit well with people. My other uploads were basically me trying to find my style of editing and character for my videos, and I learned one thing: you guys just want something to relate to and somebody who can make you guys laugh. And with the overwhelming response on my last video, I feel confident enough to start this retrospective. And now, I'm not gonna do these games in order, but I'm definitely gonna try. There are some games that I just want to talk about more than others, as they mean that much to me. I'm not sure if you want to count my last video as part of the retrospective, but it's gonna be in the playlist as well. Same with my Sonic Forces video, because I don't think my opinion on Sonic Forces is gonna change. Today we are taking a stroll back to the 90s with the first 4 Sonic games: Sonic the Hedgehog 1, Sonic CD, Sonic the Hedgehog 2, and Sonic 3 and Knuckles. Let's go back in time to Sonic's origins. Sonic the Hedgehog, the character not the game, was created in April 1990 to be the new mascot of Sega. After their last mascot, Alex Kidd, didn't meet the expectation the company had sought out for, that and him looking extremely similar to Mario. I mean, have you seen what this pug looks like? It's literally adult baby Mario. Why did they think this was a good idea? Designed by Naoto Oshima and Hirokazu Yasuhara, I sure hope I said that right, and brought to life by programmer Yuji Naka. They focused on speed to be this character's identity, as programmer Yuji Naka was very fond of speedrunning Road 1-1 in Super Mario Bros. And there's a huge amount of poetry of a Sonic programmer being a speedrunner, but I'll save that for later. Once the team figured out the character and the identity, it was time to sketch what the character would look like. And at first, he was depicted as a teal rabbit, and that boy was going to be able to grab things with these abominations, and I can only imagine where that would have gone. Now, I'm not sure whether to say fortunately or unfortunately, but they couldn't get the character to work on the hardware they were using at the time, as it was just too much for the Sega Mega Drive. Known in the US as the Sega Genesis, ultimately the team set on a character that can roll into a ball, and no other pick than a hedgehog. And thank the Lord, imagine if Sonic was a goddamn roly-poly or something. That's just the basic history of Sonic. I'm not going to go too deep into it because there are countless channels who can explain it better than I can. I just needed to get my new viewers up to speed, because I can't believe I'm saying this. There are a decent amount of people who have no idea who Sonic is, and instead of being so damn hostile, we should show them some grace. Sonic Sonic the Hedgehog took the world by storm back in the 90s. Now I can only assume from videos I've watched and word of mouth from siblings, not to make you guys feel old, but this series is indeed older than me and I'm a certified real. June 23rd, 1991, Sonic the Hedgehog hit store shelves to critical acclaim, selling 15 million copies on the Genesis alone. Though being a launch title for the system, Sonic ran his way into the hearts of many from that day. The speed was addicting and the level design was interesting, but they grew to a household name the minute the Genesis hit the store shelves, finally accomplishing what they wanted, having a main rival to Nintendo's Super Mario. Now this feels a little weird for me, growing up with the more modern 3D games and coming back to where this series started makes me understand. Arcade gaming was meant to be challenging back in the day, as that added to the replay value. It takes finesse to be good at these games, to speed through these games. And that's what the developers intended. They wanted speed to be a reward for good gameplay, not just holding right on the D-pad. And if you played any of the newer modern Sonic games, well, Sonic the Hedgehog has 18 stages divided into 5 zones with 3 stages per area, with the penultimate final zone to count as the game's final boss area, Green Hill Zone. This is where it all began. Before Generations, Lost World, Forces, Adventure 2, Smash Bros. Holy shit, he's been to other places, guys. This is Sonic's first ever stage, and the first time we've been blessed with one of the most iconic level 1 themes of all time. You've heard it, I've heard it, we've all heard it. Green Hill Zone is Sonic's Peach's castle. And need I say more? Man, do I even have to talk about this stage? It's Green Hill Zone. Even if you don't know who Sonic is, you know what Green Hill Zone is. Structure-wise, the game designed its stages like 3 perpendicular rows, with the fastest route being on top, the medium being what you would probably call the normal route of the stage, and the slower paths being completely on the bottom. But what balances that out is that if you take the top path, you're missing out on exploration, collecting rings, seeing what the level design has to offer, and collecting enough rings to jump into this giant ring at the end of each stage. Welcome to the special stage, or what I like to call these, legal acid trips. What are you even supposed to do here? As previously stated, collecting 50 rings and jumping into this giant ring at the end of each stage, you'll be transported into this special stage, and you have to try to collect the Chaos Emerald that's in the middle of the obstacle course. Now there are only 6 of these special stages in the first game, and it's not required to beat the game, but they are required if you don't want this fat boy taunting you, telling you to try again. But that's the premise of gameplay. It's a platformer. Get from point A to point B, hit the animal capsule at the end. Now, I'm not really sure how to feel about this stage. I mean, I can really appreciate the design of slowing the player down after getting them used to just being able to freely speed through the open world of the Green Hills, but man, this stage is just too damn slow. This is like having someone practice in an empty lot for the first day driving and then taking them on a busy freeway the next. How did we get here? I need to know what was the brainstorm session for this song. This song is extravagant, and you don't hear a lot of people talking about this stage's song. Quite a shame, honestly, because besides Green Hill, this is the only other song I can remember off the top of my head in this game, besides the credits, and even that's because that's been remixed in Generations. Shit's been stuck in my head ever since 2011. You really start to feel this game slow down after Green Hill, and that stinks. Yes, I understand this is a platformer, and even I said that the speed in this game needs to be earned, but maybe I'm just bad. I could just be bad. But I couldn't earn any speed naturally after Green Hill Zone. Is it because I made the mistake of playing the game in its original 4:3 aspect ratio and I couldn't see shit in front of me? Maybe. But that doesn't knock the game for what it was trying to accomplish. I just have to get better at the game, or hell, play with the bigger screen space. Goodness, did he just admit that he was bad at a game instead of complaining about it? What timeline are we in? Okay, remember when I said I only remember Marble Zone? Yeah, I absolutely lied. Spring Yard Zone was what I was actually thinking of. No disrespect to Marble Zone, I actually stand on it being a fantastic track, but Spring Yard Zone? Hold on, I'm gonna need you to play my track real quick. This shit. Yeah, the gameplay in this zone absolutely sucks. I can't move! Who needs floors when you have springs? I really don't like this stage as much as the others, which is really sad because, like I said, this song is snazzy. Again, I played this game how it was meant to be played because I know there's gonna be that one guy that's just like, he played Sonic 1 in 16:9. Bro, it's 2025. It's a retro game. Please calm down. It's not the worst stage ever created. I mean, I don't even think these era of games have levels that are inherently that bad, but that does not mean I'm excusing Sonic CD. But we'll get to that. Oh, we'll get to that. I don't know whether to chalk it up to me not knowing the game or the level design just being bad. Why are all of these bumpers everywhere? Oh, I guess that makes sense.
Oh, brother, this guy stinks!
Starlight Zone is low-key the most forgettable track, and to the Starlight Zone enjoyers, I'm so sorry. But between me and you, I'd rather be forgotten than remembered for being bad. Visually, this stage is beautiful, and the music definitely helps. I really get nostalgic from looking at this stage now that I'm talking about it. Look at the stars. Look at how beautiful this stage looks. You know how this feels. Looking out of the window while you're in the car, looking at the buildings and or stars on your way to whatever destination you're going to. That's what I feel when playing this stage. Who knows where this is in Sonic's world, but I like to headcanon that this was Sonic's first time in New York. Eggman's Robotic City, and his first of many. Well, not really a city, more just a base of operations. All of these robots you broke, freeing the little animals inside, they were all created here. At least this stage doesn't feel artificially difficult like that one stage, although this rotating platform gimmick quite frankly is the worst thing ever. I'm so serious. I'm not gonna lie, the last two zones in this game still took me less time to complete than Labyrinth Zone. Now you're probably wondering, you skipped Labyrinth Zone, why do you keep talking about it? Well, okay, fine, I'll talk about Labyrinth Zone. Look, I can't be mad at the developers. This was their first attempt at a water level. I'll give them grace, but goodness, I just can't. I'm sorry. Listen, when it comes to water levels, I like them more than the average guy. We've been over this, but I have to calm down and try not to tweak out. But this stage broke me. I don't think I've ever gotten upset playing a video game. This stage is horrendous. I can't do it. I think hearing this song gives me literal PTSD. Like, looking at my footage, it took me a whole ass hour to beat this zone, and that's with the save states with Sonic Origins. Imagine if I was playing this on original hardware. Do you guys know that Labyrinth Zone was originally supposed to be Zone 2? Imagine if that came to fruition. I can already hear the two people that are getting ready to say, he doesn't like this stage because he can't zoom through it. No, I don't like this stage because if I miss an air bubble and the game just doesn't feel like spawning one, I'm dead. And I know that's the case for most underwater Sonic levels, but I don't know. This one seems to be inconsistent as hell when it comes to spawning these things. It could just be placebo, but you can stay here for a while and the game just won't spawn a damn bubble. It's definitely the mental gymnastics I have to do, whether I should just book it and keep going forward or sit at these bubbles and potentially die if the game doesn't spawn one. I haven't spoken about the boss in this area nor the bosses in this game in general. We'll get there, but once you beat this stage and you make it to Starlight Zone, you're just like, okay, everything's cool. You get to Scrapyard Zone, you're just like, okay, this looks like the final level. Let me prepare myself. You're about to fight Eggman and then he does this. You count your fucking days. He sends your ass right back down the Labyrinth Zone. I'm telling you, Eggman is the original troll. Once you complete Scrap Brain Zone Act 3, we make it to the final zone, where we face off with Eggman for the last time.
fly, you can reach the other side of the rainbow. It's alright, take a chance, 'cause there is no circumstance that you can't handle. When you use your mind, sonic boom, sonic boom, sonic boom, sonic boom, sonic boom, sonic boom, save the planet from disaster. Through the dark to the light, it's a supersonic flight. Gotta keep it going. Sonic boom, sonic boom, sonic boom. Running faster. Sonic boom, sonic boom, save the planet from disaster. Sonic boom, sonic boom, sonic boom, spinning through the world in motion. Sonic boom, sonic boom.
How many times have you heard Sonic CD as someone's least favorite Genesis game? Well, it's no different here. Hell, did you notice there wasn't a Genesis showcasing? Shout out to my boy for these rotating shots, you're the real MVP for real. Now, I'm not gonna use this as an excuse to dog on Sonic CD, there are some things I really like about this game, like the introduction of series staples Amy and Metal Sonic, the Super Peel Out, which only showed up in this game in Sonic Mania, and yeah, that's about it. The level design is passable at best, and on its worst, we have Wacky Workbench. Look, I understand Sonic 2 came out first, but the events of Sonic CD happened first, so we're gonna tackle Sonic CD first. The story of the game is explained through the AMV you see before you start your playthrough. After the events of Sonic 1, exploring the nearby landscape, Sonic runs across Never Lake, a huge lake that's known for a planet named Little Planet to take refuge above once a year. Noticing the planet was chained to a mountain with very familiar branding on it, he then leads off to check out what's going on. Goodness lord, where do I even begin? Palm Tree Panic is definitely a Green Hill clone. Palm trees are everywhere, and the music rocks. Well, I'm using the Japanese soundtrack for the levels. To get Sonic Boom in the intro, you need to be playing with the American soundtrack, as that's what we got. The residents of Japan got
Sonic Warrior, toot, toot, Sonic Warrior, toot, toot, Sonic Warrior.
What the hell are you singing?
Oh, I'm just singing the intro song for Sonic CD. You can do anything, or toot, toot, Sonic Warrior.
but I very much prefer the Japanese soundtrack over what we got here in the West. Let me explain Sonic CD's main problem: level design. This game's whole gimmick is
Time travel!
And no, this is not an absolute win. I just want to believe this game is way too ahead of its time, but you really need to be in very situational areas for this gimmick to work. And even then, yeah, the game can just break. Dude, I want to like this game so bad, but I just can't. I can't replay this game. I don't want to replay this game. At least with Sonic 1, I can understand wanting to go experience the first game, but who the hell wants to play Sonic CD? On Little Planet, there are these time stones that we must collect to prevent Eggman from using them to seize control of Little Planet. Now, the only way you can do so is
Time travel!
and that is achieved in the levels by passing these signs. They say past or future on them, and to activate time travel, you gotta build up speed for long enough. Then depending on where you go, you have a completely different experience, layout wise and visually. But the whole point is to travel to the past to destroy these time generator things to ensure a good future for that area. So essentially, you have 4 different layouts or 4 ways to play. That's cool. Again, if it worked. It gets to a point where I kind of struggle to describe these levels. We see Amy get yoinked here, and honestly good for her. Why is she even here? This looks like a watered down casino night zone. The platforms, these bumpers here, I'm not too sure if this was on purpose, but the level design is extremely similar. Amy getting kidnapped at an amusement park is a little eerie. I really hope you enjoyed the ease of the first zone because, oh lord, who do I have to
Super slap, nigga!
We have a decent water stage now. Goodness Christmas, never put me around Labyrinth Zone again, please. I think what makes this level so much more appealing is that you don't spend that much time underwater. Yes, it's a water stage, air bubbles and all. You can actually detest the water for as minimal time as possible. I love it. The balance this stage brings is so good. This is probably the only stage I'd come back to replay if I want to play Sonic CD other than Stardust Speedway, but even then Stardust Speedway is... Yeah, I talked about the time stones, now let's talk about how to get them. Like in Sonic 1, collecting 50 rings and jumping into the big ring at the end of the stage will take you to the special stage, but instead of being on acid, we're on ecstasy now. What do I even say here? What is going on? Who designed this? Although I much prefer the special stage over Sonic 1, hell, even the half pipe, I need to know the thought process behind the creation of these special stages. There's no way I can play this and not say someone put this in the game on purpose. Destroying all of the UFOs in the special stage will reward you with a time stone, and collecting all of the time stones pretty much guarantees the good ending of the game, so you don't even have to worry about the time travel mechanic and looking for those damn generators. Though if you fail to collect all of the time stones, or if you just miss one of the generators at the end of the game, Eggman flies off with the blue time stone, and Sonic reminding us that he should be the one with the baseball series, chucking this rock with precision that not even Peyton Manning can handle.
Away. I don't know what to mine, I'll mine this anyway. In this Minecraft day, so beautiful.
I hate this stage. Nothing good to say about it. Next. Stardust Speedway is your speed level. This is the final bone they throw you to have some fun in this game. And fun you will have. This level is fast as shit. Low-key gets a little disorienting at times. What am I even supposed to do here? Act 3 of this stage serves where we get the iconic Metal Sonic race, and in my opinion, just go play Generations. No, I'm just playing. I understand it, I really do. This is really cool, though I can't take the ending of this fight seriously. Metal, you should be able to break through this door with no problem. Although a respected Metal Sonic, not my Metal Sonic. My Metal Sonic is in the GOAT game, Sonic Heroes. The final zone in this game. This one's a hard one, holy moly. As final levels go, I mean, this one is definitely sinister. Once again, a base of operation for Eggman's scheme. Remember those rotating platforms from Sonic 1? Yeah, these things are on rotating belts now. What is going on? Am I the only person that thinks the colors of this stage don't go well? Well, at least for the present portion of the stage. I haven't played the alternate version of the stage, nor did I collect all the time stones. I stopped at around the 4th one because I can only take so much of this game. Like I said, Title Tempest is enough for me. Act 3 of this area. Oh my goodness. The level design to get to the boss of this area is harder than the boss itself. And even before you go into the boss room, you have to fight a set of mini bosses. And why can't I hit these
Yo, my nigga, is you really just gonna leave me here?
Sonic the Hedgehog 2, the sequel to Sonic the Hedgehog, released on November 24th, 1992, dubbed Sonic Tuesday, oh my goodness. Only selling 5 million copies this time around on the Genesis, at least in North America. This game is memorable for a lot of things. The introduction of Miles Prower, where you guys probably know him as Tails, look at this cute little snug guy. In-series staple, the spin dash. Hold down on your D-pad, spam the interact button, and watch Sonic zoom off. You no longer have to wait for Sonic to jog his way up to max speed. You can instantly get your speed right from the get-go. And if you're playing the anniversary mode on Sonic Origins, you have the drop dash. They really improved everything from the original Sonic the Hedgehog in every way. Better level design, better music in my opinion, the color palette looks great. I have no complaints about Sonic 2. This was my Genesis Sonic game. Sonic 3 and Knuckles was extremely hard to come by for the longest time. We guys know this. Up until Sonic Origins came out, the only way to play this was on Steam at the time, and even then when Sonic Origins came out, we all know what happened to Sonic 3 and Knuckles, so you had to play fan mods. I did not have a computer, so Sonic 2 on my iPhone 6s was my first experience in playing this game. First way I beat it too. Yep, got all the Chaos Emeralds, Super Sonic, everything on this small ass iPhone 6s. I have nostalgia for this game for all of the wrong reasons. It's actually the reason why I put the mobile intro to this game, because I knew that was probably going to hit the nostalgia bone for one of you guys just like it did for me. Now, before I call this another Green Hill clone, because sadly that's exactly what it is, I want to give this one some grace, okay? Because it's my bias talking. I love this song and I can replay this stage over and over and over. As a matter of fact, I think I have this song to play over Green Hill Zone in Sonic Generations. Sonic 2 definitely thinks game's a lot more compact, and what I mean is instead of 3 acts per zone like in Sonic 1 and Sonic CD, there are only 2 acts per zone, with the stage's boss being at the end of zone 2. But don't think they're slacking on the levels because there are more zones to run through. Special stages are a little different here. Instead of waiting until the end of the stage to jump into a giant ring, you need to cross the checkpoint with 50 or more rings, and then these little stars will start flickering above the checkpoint and you can jump into it to enter the special stage. Welcome to the half pipe. To challenge you guys by the end of this retrospective, I want you guys to tell me how many times the half pipe has came up in Sonic games. Half pipe special stages like this, your objective is to collect a certain amount of rings before you pass the checkpoint. I feel like all the seasoned Sonic fans are at this part of the video like, he's explaining basic Sonic, what's going on here? With the hindsight we got at the end of Sonic 1, we know there are more than 6 Chaos Emeralds, the 7th one being on the island this game takes place on. And completing all 7 special stages will grant you Super Sonic is juiced up, he's invincible, he's all things that aren't drowning in bottomless pits. His airspeed is insane. Imagine if Sonic had airspeed like this in Smash Bros. It actually gets a little hard to control sometimes. So unless you got it like that, once you reach Ring Fortress Zone, if you have all of the emeralds, don't use Super Sonic. Well, I guess not until after this part. Quick tip, the game wants you to take this area to go around the top of the ship and climb your way back in. But if you have a shield and or Super Sonic, you can just jump through these fans. Well, you are not Somecallmejohnny. Unlocking Super Sonic in this game is purely a bonus. I don't even think there's a bad ending for this game if you don't collect all the emeralds, although I could be wrong. Now you might be wondering, Daffy, why does everyone hate these special stages? Well, to answer your question, besides being the most overused special stages in the series, most of the time you have to play these special stages with Tails, and Tails has a little delay, and can basically ruin a whole run for you if you're not careful. Everyone's favorite oil rig, chemical plant, chemical plant, chemical plant. I used to be so excited to see this stage. Now every time I see this stage, I just worry about how they're gonna reuse this stage again. I love chemical plant, don't let my previous comment deter you, I really do. The stage's theme is amazing, and the sense of speed you get here rivals the amount of speed you can get in the first game alone. Chemical plant act 1, I don't know if it's just me, I can never find any checkpoints in this stage. This stage is so short, and depending on what path you take, you can really beat it in under a minute. The second act has the infamous water area that gave a lot of our siblings PTSD when they were kids, and the reason I say a lot of our siblings, less needing to include myself, was because I beat this game on a phone. This area was light work to me. Now, if there's one thing Sonic is good at, is hitting you with a water stage. No, not really a traditional water stage, just the atmosphere. There's one thing Sonic is good at, is hitting you with a water stage. Though it's not a traditional water stage, the atmosphere is really pretty. I'm low-key jealous of the animals that get to live here. Well, the ones that aren't captured by Eggman, I guess. I'm not sure if I avoided the water like the plague, but I don't remember going underwater once here, and it's crazy because aquatic is in the name. Finally remembered that these areas have bosses. The boss of this area can be cheesed so bad it's not even funny. What you're supposed to do is wait until Jim Carrey strikes the pillar for an arrow to spawn, and you can hop on the arrows to strike them, or you can just... Casino Night Zone. Oh baby, this is undoubtedly one of the stages of all time. Sonic's first time in Vegas, of course he had to hit the slots. I love this area, I really do. But I definitely question the idea of these layouts. I love the theming of this stage, bro. Anyone been to Circus in Las Vegas? Yup, that's what this embodies. The boss of this area is a little nutty, but since I already had Supersonic, well... Oh gosh. Hilltop. Hills, $100 bills. I thought one Green Hill Zone clone per— damn, that's a mouthful to say. I thought one Green Hill Zone clone per game was enough, but two? Yeah, they just took Emerald Hill's palette and threw lava and zip lines in here. I don't think the stage is inherently bad, but it really just feels like Emerald Hill Zone Part 2.
What do you think, dipshit? They're on the same island.
The only thing I remember about this stage is this being the entrance to the special zone for this area, Hidden Palace Zone, which essentially foreshadows the hell out of the next game. Look, I know what that is. The thing is, this is only with the remastered version, and falling down here would just kill you. But that means you can just skip this area altogether, as fighting the boss here takes you straight to... Sonic is in America! The stage's concept is so cool, it really is. Oil everywhere. Watch out for the government. The stage has a gimmick where obviously try not to fall in the oil because, you know, you die. And these green platforms where they get fired into the air off of whatever these are supposed to be, and essentially you can use these to platform to other areas. The boss for this zone really sucks though, as essentially it's just one big waiting game. You have to wait for Eggman to fire his slow ass laser, his slow ass hookshot, and then you can attack him. Oh dear God, please for your sanity, do whatever you can to have Supersonic by the time you reach this area, because you think this is the final level with how douchey the developers get here. I mean, hell, this stage has 3 acts instead of 2, and this isn't even the final area. Goodness. The biggest thing about this zone is the enemies, dude, the placements of them. I want to spit on whoever designed you. Slicers, slicers, slicers.
I hate slicers!
Removing this specific enemy alone would save this zone. The Asterons are okay. As you get used to them eventually, they're in the same spot every time. Same with the crab meats because you can jump over them. But running into a slicer is like running into a Pac-Man in Elite Smash. You know you're about to get cooked. Unless you have space to run away, there's nothing you can do to avoid this thing. Hell, you can't even spin dash through them. What a very interesting spike in difficulty, especially given that this zone has 3 levels in it. Well, after you muster through all of that and the boss fight, which is a precursor to this boss in Sonic CD, wow, how funny. Now, we can go to the final boss of this game. Goodness, Tails is important. No, I'm just kidding. Here's your break before your final stage, right? Right? Hey, remember this one? I mentioned it earlier when I was talking about unlocking Supersonic. Sir Benedict the Frittata's airship. Now, this stage is really short if you know how to cheese it. Like I said, just jump through these fans. But my question is, who designed the layout of the ship to go in, out, back in, and then back out? Never mind, it happened in the 90s. The final boss of this game. Psych, no, you have one more mini boss.
Man, where your mom at, man? Where your mom at?
Okay, now we're at the final boss of this game, the Death Egg Robot. Unlike Sonic 1, I can't just edit them all together, I actually have to explain this. You have to fight both of these bosses with no rings, absolutely none. There's no way you can get here with rings, and what makes it worse is that dying on the second phase being the actual boss fight, you have to restart the phase from the Mecha Sonic fight, and good lord, why do you need to hit this guy 12 times? 12! And I might be completely wrong, but wasn't it 16 in the original game? Literally double the health of a normal stage boss fight. And you are hypersensitive. You die to anything. Pixels, fires, bombs. Hell, why you're even attacking a guy? F me, huh? Dude, this is a huge reality check because last time I fought this guy, I beat it under a minute. There was no smoke here, but I died so many times. I had to look up a guide. Boy, I suck. This is the hardest boss in the Genesis era of games by far. Not even Doomsday Zone can give me this on edge. I'm all for difficult fights and all, but throw me a few rings every here and there. I'm not even asking for a lot. Just give me 5 at the beginning and don't let me restock after the first fight. That seems fair. Now Sonic 3 and Knuckles. This one's a little special. Technically, this is my first time playing this entire game. I'll save the sob story for later, but I've only played the Sonic 3 portion of this game. I haven't touched Sonic and Knuckles. I have not fully completed this game. I haven't unlocked all the Chaos Emeralds. The Blue Spears took a chunk out of me, and at the time, I just wasn't worried about playing Sonic 3. Sonic Generations was brand new, and if I wanted to play classic Sonic, I would just go play Sonic Generations. And that way of thinking kept me away from Sonic 3 and Knuckles, even when I ended up getting my PC not too long ago. ago. It took me up until, hell, recently to get Sonic 3 Air running on my system. So you might think with these words being said that I might have skipped Sonic Mania. No, I didn't. I played the hell out of Sonic Mania. Sonic Mania gets its own video. And I know, trust me, I feel like a good amount of people would include Sonic Mania in the Genesis era of games, but technically Sonic Mania came out on modern hardware, and it's kind of hard to talk about the game that supposedly happens after Sonic 3K when the intro is literally the exact same as Sonic 3K. Like literally the exact same, until you get worked in the Green Hill Zone. Like, do you see my point? So we'll save Sonic Mania for another video, but you guys can't say I didn't mention it. Now, since it's been 10 years since the last time I played this game, it felt like a brand new experience. Going into this game again, hell, the fact that they were able to pull this game off on the Genesis really shows how well they were able to optimize their hardware back in the day. We have mid-level cutscenes in a Genesis game. Sonic CD needed a disc for him to spin in time travel. Okay, I really don't know how these games work, but in my eyes, Sonic 3 and Knuckles is a technological wonder. This is the first game to ever have DLC, and it's so raw. Sonic Team called this
Lock on technology!
allowing for the full experience when connected to Sonic and Knuckles. Hell, you can even get some bonuses by connecting Sonic 2 to Sonic and Knuckles, and you can play Knuckles in Sonic 2. This game is so damn fun. I see where all the damn comparisons come from Insta Shields to Elemental Shields. The affirmation endgame cutscenes, the boss fights are fun as hell, Tails is still cute as hell, and the sprite work is gorgeous. Look at this game. We went from this to this in 4 years. Name a bigger glow up. This section of the video might be the longest, as this is the longest game, and I just have so much to say about this game. This game is amazing.
Sup, little bitches, yo, my name is the...
Angel Island Zone, the setting of this game's adventure, and the home of this red guy. Idris Elba, Knuckles, goodness. Nickels the Echidna got the ultimate cheap shot on our titular hedgehog over here, strong enough to knock the emeralds out of our boy. He somehow managed to run off with them, and I just have to assume he dug right in front of Sonic, which, even if that's the case, Sonic should have just been able to follow him, because ain't no way in hell he's outrunning Sonic. Green Hill Zone is gone. We're starting in a jungle of all places. Nah, I'm kidding, but they really switched up the design of what the first area looks like, finally. Before we continue, let's talk about the differences this game has to offer from its older siblings. Sonic has new moves, and by new moves I really just mean one new move, and that is the Insta Shield. Press the action button at any point while Sonic is jumping and you'll see this little white flash cover Sonic, and this makes you pretty much invulnerable to anything. It definitely helps when you think you're about to hit something and you're just out of reach of it. It's a very useful technique, but I low-key think they just added that to get you used to the main star of the show, the elemental shields. The bubble shield, the electric shield, and the fire shield all give different elemental effects depending on your situation. The electric shield keeps you safe from electric based attacks and allows you to double jump. The fire shield protects you from fire and lava and allows you to do a dash. And the bubble shield allows you to breathe on the water indefinitely. And precursors the bounce attack from Sonic Adventure 2. What an upgrade. Man, that's a whole lot of moves. Need I remind you this game came out on the Genesis? All that is in Sonic the Hedgehog 3 alone. And when you connect Sonic 3 to Sonic and Knuckles due to the lock-on technology it has, you get the full package. 12 straight zones of bliss and fun. This game is so fun. I'm quite mad at myself for taking this long to finally play this game. And I'm trying not to compare this to Sonic Mania because even though I played Sonic Mania first, I've heard the discussion of people comparing this game and Sonic Mania. I don't even think they're in the same conversation because Sonic Mania is a compilation game. This game has its own story to tell, whereas Sonic Mania is just like Sonic Generations for the Genesis. Let's be real here. I don't know, but being honest, I think I'd be coming back to Sonic 3 and Knuckles more than Sonic Mania. This game is just a lot more charming. Sonic Mania still connects to Sonic Forces at the end of the day, and even though that's not a reason not to play Sonic Forces, I just needed a reason to stray Sonic Forces. Half of the levels in Sonic Mania comes from other games, so I don't think it's quite fair to compare those two. Also, being transported from Angel Island to Green Hill Zone is the most fuck you thing anyone could have ever done. Now you can say what you want about this stage, but I don't care. This is my favorite water stage in the history of Sonic. I regularly listen to this track, both acts, and it's just that Michael, Billy, Gene, Jackson influence. It's so nutty. Here's a reminder that Hydrocity is the best water stage. Now I won't say this stage is bad, it's just really confusing. I got stuck on this stage way longer than I needed to. Though I love the song and atmosphere that this zone encapsulates, to peek into the lore of Sonic real quick, Knuckles is supposed to be the last remaining survivor on this island, and you can really feel that by how desolate and alone this place is. And it's crazy because after going through Hydro City Zone, coming to this tomb basically is like, whoa, where is everybody? This game really does a good job of telling its story with its level design and atmosphere. They really did well with what they had back in the day. Though not my favorite stage in this game, it is a good speedrun challenge on repeat playthroughs. I'm not sure if I skipped over any levels that have a mechanic like this, but you can actually interact with the level design. These blue wheels right here, you can spin dash next to change the area around you, and that's really solid. Props to them. Sonic has hit the polar peaks. Did I just reference Fortnite in 2025? We have the very famous snowboard section that has been referenced in damn near every single Sonic game ever since. Goodness. And let's be real here, the music. Let's be real here, who actually knew of the song this stage sampled before the licensing issues of this game arrived? Exactly. Once again, if you're playing the Sonic Origins port, you're gonna hear a different track than what's playing in the background. Again, because of licensing issues. This is what you guys will hear. The last zone in the base version of Sonic 3, but since we have the full package, we're only halfway through. Eggman's base of operations on Angel Island, launching straight out of Ice Cap to try to stop the Death Egg from taking off. Look, you can even see it in the background. Here's where you fight the infamous Big Arm boss, and while I personally prefer this boss on the 3DS because the 3DS remix slaps so hard it's not even funny, they should add this to the Symphony track list because, just listen. Alright, welcome to the second half of the game. The adventure is wrapping up, now it's getting exciting. After crashing the Death Egg on Angel Island, the game obviously continues, and Mushroom Hill is our next zone. Mario wants his power-ups back. My first time experiencing this stage was on the 3DS version of Sonic Generations, so my memories from this stage come from just saying, I can boot this up on Sonic Generations right now. Mushroom Hill Zone has a strangely different layout if you're playing the Sonic and Knuckles half by itself, but that might not be the case for the entire game. We're back on Angel Island to prevent the Death Egg from egging all over Sonic's world, so it's time to find Eggman once again. Knuckles on the other hand fell right into Mushroom Hill, and we meet up with him again here. Though he's still thinking Sonic's the bad guy, so the next time we see him face to face, well, you're lucky the movies redeemed you, because why are you such a dumbass? Once you make it to the Mushroom Hill side of the game, if you have already locked Super Sonic, you have a chance to upgrade your Chaos Emeralds again to transform into an even better form. Hypersonic is just Wow, you know, I'm starting to see why this form never came back. Besides that BS claim that Hypersonic is in canon, if the Master Emerald can ease the power of the Chaos Emeralds, you know damn well they can enhance them. They just don't want to bring back Hypersonic. Don't let that comment be the final answer. Hypersonic is just too overpowered, which isn't a bad thing. You have to redo every single Blue Sphere stage, and they're much harder now. These are not easy. The difference is now, whenever you hop into one of those giant rings, you're transported to Hidden Palace Zone. Remember this stage from Sonic 2? Here's where you can upgrade your emeralds, and you can go in any order. And once you collect them all, you can go Hyper, and Hyper is indeed the name of the game. He just obliterates literally everything. Oh my goodness. Hypersonic doesn't come back after this, which makes unlocking him so much more enjoyable. You earned being able to obliterate everything. Eggman's flying battleship. Now, I'm not sure if this is the same ship that terrorized Angel Island at the beginning of the game, but considering this is the only other flying ship in this game, I'm gonna assume so. This stage is so damn fun. It's nice to see the inside of an Energizer battery. Although the outside areas of the ship is probably the most nerve-wracking gameplay ever, on par with this BS from Sonic 2, this is definitely my favorite stage in the Sonic and Knuckles half of the game. But make sure you watch out for these spike ball things, as you will get hit by them. No, it's not a might. You absolutely will get hit by these. Also, these electric bars will pull you upward if you have an electric shield, so make sure you're careful about that. I'd love to see this stage get Generations-ified one day. I need this stage to come back in a 3D setting. Maybe Frontiers too, I don't know. If you ever wonder what the inside of a volcano looks like, man, it looks nothing like the volcano from Fort. Make sure you have a fire shield. That's literally all I can say. The level design does not complement not having one. Make sure you have a fire shield. Well, I guess not similar in layout, but similar in name. The sacred holding place of the Master Emerald. And the Super Emeralds, I guess. Most definitely the shortest zone in this game. Here's where you have a one-on-one confrontation with Niggles, and honestly, just spam the insta-shield. This is where Knuckles comes to find out that he's been getting fibbed on this entire time, with Dr. Robotnik stealing the Master Emerald right in front of him and shocking him off the Eggmobile. Hey man, you wouldn't be in this predicament if you just learned how to ask questions. Also, take a look at this mural. It's a pretty mural. Hope this doesn't mean anything in the future. Anyway. The most angelic zone in the game, the second to final level before reaching Eggman, cloud walking to reach other areas. After the shocking revelations Knuckles went through, he decides to help our boy out in reaching Eggman, and conveniently enough, this floating landscape just so happened to be where the Death Egg was taking off. You know, after putting so much time into the Generations version of this stage, I just kept looking for details that I was able to notice that made it into Generations, so I'm not gonna lie, I don't really have much to say about Sky Sanctuary Zone. It's kinda hard for me to form an opinion on the stage when my opinion of that stage has been shaped by a modern game that in my opinion did the stage way better. Like, I love Sky Sanctuary Zone, don't get me wrong, but if I'm going to play it, I'm playing the Generations version of it, classic or modern, and I'm pretty sure that is the most Gen Z take anyone has ever heard. Okay, I won't do that. I'll actually explain how the fight works. Now I have Hypersonic here because I unlocked him for this gameplay, but you don't need the Super Emeralds to fight this fight. You can just fight him with Supersonic. Eggman managed to make a robot so powerful that Supersonic couldn't even directly injure it. He had to lead its own missiles into it. That's how you attack this thing, by the way. You have to lead its missiles into the body. Yes, Supersonic, a chaos-powered hedgehog, can attack it, but its own missiles can attack it. What is this game? But what doesn't get me is that how the fuck did he fit another robot under this robot? Like, Eggman has dimensional hammer space. What's going on? Once you take out the first phase of the boss, the second phase starts. You just ram into him as many times as you can, making sure that you stop for rings every time you get low. And once you hit him enough times, you beat the game. So with that being said, I can just talk about Sonic Origins as a package deal, and while there isn't much to say other than this is just a convenient modern way to play these older games, as a Sonic fan, yeah, I don't know if I can recommend this to longtime fans, because I believe longtime fans already have better ways to launch these games. If you're a new fan looking to get into Sonic the Hedgehog, I absolutely recommend starting here. Hell, it's only $30 and an extra $10 for the expansion pack, and unlock a few playable characters, the biggest one here being Amy Rose, making her playable classic debut here, and the various Game Gear titles, which, let's be real here, no one wants to play these. Sonic Origins at the end of the day is what the Sonic Mega Collection Plus was for a lot of us. And unlike us back then, they can actually play Sonic 3 and Knuckles right out of the box without having to resort to fan mods or anything. And while Sonic Team is way more lenient with fan games compared to this other Japanese company I know, this is still the most bare bones collection. Half of the items that are locked behind a paywall would have been basic exclusives on the GameCube version of something like this.
$10, which really sucks because who asked for this? Is Amy worth $10? Y'all let me know. I'll probably never boot this game up after this video. The gamer score is nice even if I didn't 100% the games. If I want to play these games, I have them on my computer with way more options to change and customize my playtime. I'm not going to complain about them not offering more ways to play here. I'm sure they wanted this to be as authentic as possible. Well, sometimes. This game does have multiple different modes you can play. Each game has a boss rush, and need I explain what a boss rush is? Mirror mode is low-key interesting because you just play through whatever game you pick backwards, from right to left. It's interesting. Now, I didn't do this, I just got this for the sake of gameplay, but cool little extra. There are missions that this game also have, which I didn't play, but definitely worth mentioning. There's this little museum in the game where you can listen to the game's soundtrack, look at concept art, and rewatch the game's cutscenes. Hell, they even give you 3 short films from the Sonic Symphony. Why don't I see more people talk about this? I haven't seen anyone talk about this. Hell, I went to a Sonic Symphony. It was probably the best day of my damn life. I thought more people would talk about this. I remember when this game launched, it launched with a plethora of issues, like with any modern game in the modern era. Classic or not, you're not getting around bugs in a Sonic game. Now, I'm playing Afterpatch because the game in of itself is 3 years old, so I hope most of these things got fixed, but other than that, yeah. Those were our first 4 Sonic games. I'm not mad at this compilation for existing, I just wish they put a lot more into it that isn't locked behind a paywall. Well, it's Sega, they had to make up for the crashing burning of Sonic Colors Ultimate, so thank you guys so much for tuning into another video of mine. I can't seem to keep my videos under 30 minutes, but it's okay, I'm just a yapper to be honest. Question, would you guys like to see me talk about the Sonic movies? I know I said I would do that at the beginning of the video, but now I'm asking you guys since the video is over. You guys let me know and I'll get them out as soon as possible. As per my other gaming videos, obviously we're going to continue this retrospective. Up next is the Sonic Adventure games. Now for those games, I'm not sure if you guys want me to do both in one video or separate videos. I obviously don't mind doing both. Hopefully I can get my hands on an Xbox sometime soon for obvious reasons, but for the time being I'm gonna keep these bangers coming. We have 1,500 subscribers now. I don't know what to say. Thank you guys so much for tuning in and subscribing. I legit don't know what to say. I have to call you guys something now. I have no clue what to call you guys. Thinking about calling you guys the members. Subscribe. Join the members. Member gang, you know what I mean? Anyway, I'll see you guys in the next video. Take care.
Yeah.